mic. Everybody's got excuses, but you got one life to live, one life to give, one moment, one opportunity. Boy, that's it, and it's all said and done. When the going gets tough and the tough gets going, you just go ahead and run. Cause opinions are like assholes, everybody has one. They're being constructive or they jealous of the outcome. It's not about the times you fail, it's about the times you got up. And I don't even care what the fuck your excuses is. Fact is, you just playing the cards of foolishness. What you think I'm dubious, you gotta get up, get going and just move on. Don't look towards the past, you gotta groove on. You procrastinating now, you gotta get that motivation. I already created a track called Inspiration. Gotta get up, get going and get fucking hype. Go.
Welcome everybody to Thursday Night Rundown Yearly Review. I am Big Red. Yes, I am back after a month of absence, and I'm with, of course, the crazy one, the only, the man of the evening. Good crazy.
What's happening, Big Red? Hope everyone's okay. This is going to be a sick episode. We're going to run down everything that happened this week. And we're going to do our year in review, best feuds, best wrestler, best matches, and worst of all those things. So let's get down to the gritty right now.
Let's go.
So let's start off with the rundown. Not too much breaking news. I guess it's a slow week, being close to Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
The dirty sheets have been taking it easy recently. So not too much breaking news. So let's go down with the rundown right away. And guys, like I say, feel free to comment or interject whenever you guys want. So let's start off with SmackDown, which was an okay episode.
Yep.
Recently, they've been getting better because since Triple H took over, there was a little span of time where it was actually getting better. Then it stagnated a bit, and now it's starting again to get better. There's some key things that they need to focus on, that they need to do, that usually, if they stick to wrestling and less stupid promos and stuff like that, usually they are great shows. So let's start with SmackDown. We started off right away with a bang with the women's tag team championship match with Damage Control versus Liv Morgan and the returning Tegan Nox. I actually enjoyed this match. I'm really a big fan. I know I've said this before. Big fan of Tegan Nox. So is JLB. And I think this was a good wrestling psychology, back and forth. It was a very, very good match. I think we're going to be seeing more from this whole storyline of Tegan Nox and Liv involving Damage Control, with also Damage Control Bailey on Raw having also a sick match with Bex, with Becky Lynch, which they hadn't fought. I didn't even realize, but I heard the commentators talk about that they hadn't fought in like almost 4 years. So
it's crazy when you think of it.
Yep. It's also crazy to think how time fucking flies pretty quickly. Yeah. So this match was good. What'd you think about this match that opened up SmackDown?
I felt like it was a pay-per-view match, to be honest with you. It was from 1 to 10 right away. Like, okay, let's go. It's Friday SmackDown, and it's time to smack it down.
Yep. Actually, that's a pretty good opinion there, saying it was a pay-per-view caliber match. I definitely agree with that. And we might see it in a future pay-per-view, maybe Royal Rumble, because now there's no pay-per-views until Royal Rumble. So that's probably a good opportunity for Tegan Nox and Liv Morgan to have a rematch at Royal Rumble.
It's also
so then
it's a good story when it comes for the Women's Rumble.
Sure, yeah, because most probably, usually all these girls, sometimes they have matches, but they're also going to be in the Women's Royal Rumble. So those are stories to follow during the Royal Rumble, the Women's Royal Rumble. Because what do they say about the Royal Rumble? It's every man for himself. So it's going to be interesting to see how Damage Control approaches it, and how Tegan Nox and Liv Morgan approach it. That thing. So we might get some tag teams breaking up. We might get some friction in some tag teams, but that's what's great about the Royal Rumble.
It's my favorite pay-per-view, the Rumble.
Yeah, mine too. I've said it before. It's definitely my favorite pay-per-view also. So I guess by talking about the Royal Rumble, I'm going to do a little shameless plug here, and we're going to be doing a Rumble Bash watch party for the Royal Rumble on January 28th at the Portuguese Community Center on Hochelaga in the East End of Montreal. So everybody, if you're interested to come to the most interesting pay-per-view of the year, you guys just come and join us. You guys are more than welcome.
Food, drinks, and Rumble.
Yes, that's it. Food, drinks, probably a lot of drinks, but we'll see when we get there. So shameless plug done. So yeah, very, very happy with that match. It's going to be interesting to see how the story unfolds going forward. Then we had probably the best part. Well, no, I'm not going to go there. It wasn't the best part. It was maybe the second best part of SmackDown, where LA Knight takes to the ring and basically calls out Bray Wyatt, pointing out all the times he was attacked. There was always a direct connection, or you would see the mask in the background of Uncle Howdy, basically saying that Bray Wyatt is being a coward, hiding behind his other persona, which he was thinking Uncle Howdy was another one of Bray Wyatt's characters. We ended up finding out while Bray Wyatt comes down to the ring, basically gives him another chance to apologize, continues to say that it wasn't him that attacked him. So LA Knight proceeds to beat the fuck out of Bray Wyatt, and then the mystery man called Uncle Howdy made his appearance after a long video kind of package, music playing, and Uncle Howdy comes out, and to LA Knight's surprise, shock, even Bray Wyatt, which was laughing at the beginning, kind of saying, "I told you so." Even him at the end, towards the end of the segment, was more in shock type of thing. So we still don't know who Uncle Howdy is. Uncle Howdy. We have a lot of, I guess, speculation out there in the internet and in the dirty sheets about excuse me, about who is Uncle Howdy. I have my idea. I think we've talked about this before on the podcast. We think it's Bo Dallas here. But he seemed pretty, I don't know, he seemed more, square, bigger shoulders than Bo Dallas, but that could be anything that he was wearing underneath that jacket.
Also,
do you still think it's Bo Dallas?
Well, it's been a while we haven't seen him.
Well, there's been actually no news actually that he was rehired since he was released. So if he has been rehired and it is him, then they are keeping this very under the wraps, and I'm surprised that no sources have gone to Uncle Dave Meltzer here, to spill the beans and maybe get this. But
that's
out of the bag.
That's what makes it more interesting.
Yep, of course. I totally agree. If we would have known, then there would have been no point in continuing.
Exactly. If it was Bo, look, it's Bo. Whatever.
Yeah,
he's doing a good job.
A lot of the interest. Yes, I agree totally. But I'm really interested in this. Not interested was not the right word. I'm really invested in this storyline going on. I know some people might be a bit bored. Well, not bored, but pissed because it seems like it's taking a long time to drag out.
But that's the point.
Yeah, that's the point.
We used to complain that the WWE didn't know how to do long term. Now we're doing they're doing long term. Come on.
Yeah, yes, that's totally right. We have complained about WWE getting involved in long-term storytelling, and they're actually doing it, and now we're still complaining. So I guess wrestling fans, smarks, like to complain one way or the other, and but I love it.
My thing, what I'm interested is how Bliss is going to get in the story.
Yeah, because we see this more and more each week. She's getting more and more involved in the storyline in her own kind of separate way. We've seen her try to go for the sister Abigail on what's her name, Bianca Belair. We've seen her get in a trance kind of way when when she sees the white rabbit on the screen backstage.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and now this past week on Raw, we saw her. Well, it wasn't kind of. I think this one on Raw wasn't really um like
Don't
that
bother
much
me. I'm eating.
connected to the Bray Wyatt. No, don't worry about it. It was not that much connected to Bray Wyatt because it didn't seem like she was like in a trance or something took over her. She just seems to get more and more like evil type of way. And when she hits Bianca
The glass.
with the vase, yeah, with the vase,
Yeah.
you see it that it's more like her telling Bianca, "Listen, you stop worrying about Bray Wyatt, and this is not about Bray Wyatt. I'm more dangerous. Bray Wyatt's not a danger to you. I'm more of a danger to you." So I really like that, and I think more and more as weeks go, we're gonna see Alexa more and more involved in the storyline with Bray.
Now,
So yeah, go ahead.
question for you. When Bliss, how do I put this? When Bliss goes completely with Bray,
Mhm.
and she has her matches, do you think Bray's gonna be with her, or do you think it's gonna be Uncle Hardy?
Oof, good question, because technically we don't know. Like as this story unfolds,
Mm.
we really don't know who's the leader in this cult kind of thing.
No, but the way
It seems like it's Uncle Howdy, yeah.
yeah, the way
It
it's
seems
going
like
with the storyline with Bray, seems
it,
that Uncle is the higher power.
yeah, that the way they're playing it out, it seems like that. The way he's manipulating or trying to manipulate Bray seems like he's the one that's pulling the strings here.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's still a lot to the story yet that we don't know about. So this past Friday was kind of like the first time that we're actually getting a new level to the storyline.
Right.
So hopefully it doesn't take another 5-6 weeks to get another level. Hopefully, maybe because the SmackDown was uh, pre-recorded for this Friday for tomorrow's episode, so they recorded it last week. I've read the spoilers. I'm not gonna say them here, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of involvement in the Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt does appear on this SmackDown's edition, but it doesn't seem like there's too much of an involvement in the storyline. So hopefully we don't go another 5-6 weeks without getting involved.
Didn't it come out that technically they have a storyline for Bray until Mania?
Yeah, I think that was leaked. Yes, I think it was leaked from. I think it comes. I don't know from what it was leaked, but I think it was Triple H that had mentioned this on a podcast or something. Or I remember something in this matter about saying that well into 2023, Bray's story continues and is already written.
So the way I take that as it's gonna be a full circle at Mania.
Like they were gonna get all the answers, everything.
Like not everything, but like a big
Okay.
like the frame of the story.
Okay.
Like we're gonna know what's going on, but not what exactly is gonna go on.
Okay.
Okay,
I get it. Yeah, it would make sense because this would be a good setup. I think WrestleMania would be a good time to have Bray's first big match. I'm not saying like not have matches in between now and WrestleMania. Maybe some matches on TV. Maybe him appearing at the Rumble.
But I wouldn't put Bray on SmackDown.
No. But it depends on what context. Like if you do me like what we've seen
in a sense of
now.
No, I mean in a sense of I wouldn't want to see Bray wrestle on SmackDown.
Okay.
That's what I mean. But like this, what he's doing now, yes.
Yeah,
I'm interested.
But wrestling, yeah. I get it.
In a sense of
maybe we'll see an appearance in the Rumble. That would make a bit of sense. But I don't see him having any big matches before Mania. So maybe having his first big match at WrestleMania with that entrance in front of 100,000 people, that will be fucking great.
But I think his first match is gonna be at Rumble with Knight. No.
It could very well be possible, but I don't know if they're gonna go that route right away. I don't know.
I wouldn't put his first match on a SmackDown or Raw.
It depends of the importance of the match and what the finish is. You know, it could be a
That's
match and
true.
have a non-finish or something like that, or Uncle
That's
Howdy
true.
comes and interfere.
Or
And
or I would do something like the Friday before SmackDown,
for a Royal
A
Rumble,
Raw Rumble, and the continuation on Raw
yeah,
on Rumble. I mean, sorry.
that could be a way to go for that storyline. So yeah, we probably there is some things going to happen tomorrow that are interesting. So guys, watch SmackDown tomorrow because Bray does have a little episode, but nothing that you'll say, okay, this is the next step in the story. The next step in the story was last week, and now we'll probably have to wait till in the beginning of the new year to get further development in
They're
this story.
they're cooling down the storyline. They're
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Then after that, we had probably, yeah, I'm comfortable with saying probably the best match on SmackDown there, um,
Got that?
with Gunter versus Ricochet.
Huh.
Uh, I'm really happy they're finally giving Ricochet some quality matches on TV because
About time.
since winning the World Cup, the Fox
Don't
Wrestling
get me
World Cup,
started.
yeah, um, he's been on fire. I didn't expect him to beat Gunter.
No.
But the fact that they still made him look strong,
Yes.
I appreciate that
Hmm.
for Ricochet.
It
I would
made
like to see Ricochet go far in the Rumble here. Not saying win it, but be in the final 4 or 5. I would really like Ricochet because of his athleticism, might be something to watch for in the Royal Rumble.
that match reminded me of old NXT takeover matches.
Yep, and the quality of and the style. Yep, I agree.
It
I
that was
agree. It
so
was.
true. It showed that Triple H was behind that.
Yes, yes, yeah, it definitely showed that Triple H was the booker behind that. I don't know who produced the match, but Gunter versus Ricochet, I'm really enjoyed that match, and I'm would like I just said, I would really like to see Ricochet go far in the Rumble,
Hmm.
get his time, maybe in the final 4 would be good. Having a few close calls, a few athletic displays of athleticism. That's the word I was looking for. Displays of athleticism by Ricochet would be warranted from this fan here of Ricochet because I really like Ricochet. He's not the best on the mic, so I don't know if he could ever be the top player in the game, but definitely uh, a U.S. title, intercontinental title type wrestler, no doubt about it.
Hmm.
Then after that, we had the tag team triple threat match with Viking Raiders. Uh, what's their name? Fantasma, Legado del Fantasma,
Yeah.
and Hit Row. So after it was an okay match. It's really hard to follow up, have a good match after the
Yeah.
style of match that you had before with Gunter and Ricochet, but they managed to pull through and they had a good match. And I think they're fixing, or Triple H is fixing the mistakes he made when he brought the Hit Row back. He brought Hit
Mm.
Row back, and Hit Row, uh, without Swerve, obviously, which they're always missing something. I still think they're missing that leader, that big time player, which I still think might be Carmelo Hayes coming up to the main roster. Um,
Mm.
but at least now they're not making them look bad like they were doing every single week, getting them destroyed, getting them getting them get a beating every week. So now they actually come out on top of this match, which was an okay match. I don't think it hurts Viking Raiders at all here. Um, maybe Fantasma a bit, maybe Legado del Fantasma a bit, because they lost again, if I'm not mistaken, on a recent after SmackDown. I think they lost on. Let me check my notes here. I think they lost on Raw again. I'm not sure. Do they?
I love
Uh,
I love the direction they're putting the Vikings.
yeah.
I believe that
Finally,
what
go ahead.
I finally they're putting them where should have been since the beginning.
Yep.
Not playing tournaments with other tag teams.
Yeah. Definitely, they're not they shouldn't be doing any comedic
No,
roles in.
they
This is a this is a tag team that wherever they went before main roster, whether it's Japan, whether it's NXT, we're a destructive tag team, and that's what they have to be.
are probably gonna get heat for this, but heat is good heat.
Yeah.
They are they are our generation demolition.
Um,
Not in okay, not in quality of wrestling, but I'm talking about character wise.
yeah, yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, but I think they're better. They're more talented than Demolition in the ring.
Yes, yes, that's what I mean. But I'm talking about character wise, the way like Demolition, they were a team that they were Demolition.
Yeah, yeah, that's their gimmick was going in and destroying other tag teams.
That's what I'm saying.
Um, and in that aspect, yes, we do see Viking Raiders destroying their other tag teams, and that's what we want to see.
Hmm.
Um, but I think I'll compare their style of wrestling, the style here, more to LOD than Demolition. Uh,
Okay.
they're athletic and destructive. So I think Legion of Doom was both athletic and destructive.
Yes.
Um, Hulk and Animal, Animal, a
Hmm.
former professional football player, and very there it would come in also destructive. Um, they wouldn't maybe squash as many tag teams as Demolition, but they're definitely the quality of matches was better than the quality of matches of Demolition. But I understand your comparison. And Viking Raiders, this is what I need to see from Viking Raiders. I would like them to have a champ to have a tag to be tag champions for a good run
Hmm.
in 2023. So I'm not saying before Mania. Maybe after Mania would be better. Start the run after there, but I would like to see them as tag team champions because I think they deserve it. I think they're credible as tag team champions, and I think they could have a good run and be really over with the fans as tag team champions.
And
So,
with their manager, what's her name now?
ooh, what's her name? Something with a V. Um,
Valhalla, Viella.
Viella or something like that.
It makes a difference. To
Oh
me, it
yes,
makes a difference.
oh yes, definitely, definitely. And she's much more relevant right
Yeah.
now than she was in before. So the name change is good. She's married with Eric, if I'm not mistaken, from the Viking Raiders.
Yes.
So it fits good. The chemistry is there. We haven't heard her talk yet since they came back with her. So the mystery part is also interesting here. But yeah, Viking Raiders, destructive tag team, and I hope they continue
Hmm.
that into 2023, and maybe a title run for them would be fun for us fans to watch. So that was the tag team triple threat with obviously Hit Row, like I was saying, coming out on top in this, which I was surprised because those are three good tag teams, and Hit Row coming out on top makes them puts a bit back some credibility to Hit Row that they had lost in the first few weeks coming back into the company. And then we had the final segment of SmackDown with the Bloodline coming down to the ring, and
Hmm.
so basically we had seen early on in backstage segments, Roman asking for a match with him and Sammy versus Kevin Owens and the partner of his choice. So before we found out who the mystery partner was, who were you thinking was going to be the mystery partner?
Um, I didn't really have anyone to be honest with you. I was I was thinking of someone already active,
Yeah,
but I didn't like John Cena did not come through my head.
absolutely not. I didn't expect that. So I was thinking maybe it was going to be somebody like in the
I thought like McIntyre or something.
or Drew, yeah, Drew or Elias, something like that.
Yeah.
So then we get appearing on the big screen. We get an appearance from John Cena while Roman is kind of building up this match, and John Cena says that somebody mentioned to him that this is the first time in I don't remember exactly the number of years, but I think it's 19 or 18 years, something. I think it's 18 years. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong here. But he said it would be the first time in 18 years that he hasn't had one match in a full calendar year in WWE. So we saw it coming. As soon as he said that, we saw him coming. So he ends up saying that on the SmackDown. Is it the SmackDown or Raw edition of the 30th?
SmackDown.
SmackDown, yeah. So on the SmackDown, the last SmackDown of the year, on December 30th, John Cena will be tagging up with KO Kevin Owens to face Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns. And he finishes off the segment with a little Christmas rhyme for Roman, which was funny there. He even says the S word, the shit. He uses shit in his kind of end of the segment rhyme there. So I'm like this really popped me up. Like I really popped when I saw John Cena. People that know me for a long time know that maybe for the first 10 years of John Cena's career, I was not his biggest fan at all. But he has earned, and the key word here is earned, my respect in the last 10 years of his career. So I'm really excited to see John Cena. I think this match is going to be, hopefully, I don't think, but I hope that this match is going to be a banger. Don't do anything, any stupid shenanigans like cut it short with an interference or something, or the story. I want to see this match go from bell to bell. Would be nice. Other than that, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, finish your thought. Sorry.
I think that they're going to use this match as maybe to further the story between Sami and Roman and Kevin Owens.
That's what I was going to say. I just want to see if Sami's actually going to hit Kevin. I said now, hear me out. One, I find that Sami is getting more bigger than the bloodline right now.
Yeah, I could see why you would say that. Yeah, okay.
And I have a feeling that this is a plan between Sami and Kevin Owens.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think I've even mentioned that on the podcast already.
Oh, have you? Oh, there you go. Great minds think alike.
I really think this could be a plot.
That's the word I was looking for.
A plot by Sami and KO. I really think it's time for the development or for the end of this story with Sami and the Bloodline. And I'll explain this. And I know some people might be pissed off because they're really enjoying this. But before this whole thing falls stale, so already they're using Uzi way too much. It's no longer funny.
No.
Sami Uso is okay, I guess that they're using it, but some of these segments are becoming stale. So before people say fuck this shit, I don't want to see this anymore. It's not interesting no more. It's time for the plot to thicken, for the plot twist here, if you will. So I think that match with Cena, a lot of people would think, okay, this is the perfect time for have this plot twist, but I don't want to see it there.
No,
I want to see it at the like Jeff would say here. I want to see a payoff for this plot twist. So obviously, the best time for this plot twist would be at Royal Rumble, because that's where the most eyes are going to be on this.
Right.
So the turn, whichever it is, if it's the Bloodline that turns on Sami, or Sami that turns on the Bloodline, which I think we have the same opinion here. We think it's Sami that's going to turn on the Bloodline, but it could go either way. I think the best time for this would be at the Royal Rumble. So for December 30th, SmackDown edition, we have a big, well, I could say this is a pay-per-view caliber match, right?
Oh,
Cena and KO versus Sami and Roman. Definitely. Probably two of those wrestlers are probably the best wrestlers of the last 20 years.
You're saying Cena and Roman, or?
Yeah, Roman and Cena. Now, when I say best wrestlers, I don't mean just wrestling in the ring. I mean like overall,
in general.
Okay, let me rephrase that. I think we have the two most over wrestlers in the last 20 years in Cena and Roman. So definitely pay-per-view caliber match. And we probably have for for the last 10 years that they've been in WWE, counting their time in NXT, probably the two next most all around over and good wrestlers with Sammy and KO. So I think this is a very big match, and I hope they give them the TV time that it deserves. So because of commercial breaks, it's very hard to have a 20-minute match on TV, like a 25-minute match of good wrestling on TV. I understand that because it goes like 2 or sometimes even 3 commercial breaks, and that kills the momentum a bit. So it doesn't have to be a long match, but give me 10 minutes of fire here. People popping, people will enjoy it, people will be grateful, and I think December 30th might be the highest viewed SmackDown of the year. Well, at least has the potential for it.
I would be surprised if we get an announcement that the last hour of SmackDown is commercial free. I wouldn't be.
Well, that would be a good idea, or at least the last half hour. Maybe have a company buy the last half hour of basically what they do is so they don't do breaks in the last half hour, and that they say, okay, let's say for example, I don't want to give some cheap promotion here to any company, but let's say Snickers, yes, let's say Snickers. Let's say the next half hour is commercial free and is brought to you by Snickers, right? So type of thing like we've seen before being done. So yeah, that was a great news. So can't wait till December 30th for that tag match. Then I guess there's okay. We'll continue with WWE, and then we'll hit AEW after. So I just realized I don't have notes for Rampage, so we'll just do that Dynamite. So so Raw starts off with what's Akira Tozawa. Well, first it was my God,
Judgment Day.
Yeah, that's it. Judgment Day versus the Street Profits. Thank you. Couldn't read what I wrote there. Yeah, Judgment Day versus Street Profits. It was okay, man.
Okay.
Yeah, it was okay. I enjoyed it.
I think it's time for the Street Profits to cut it loose.
I don't know if I would agree with that. I'm like they're getting so much, like not better because they're always like kind of good. But
I find they're stale.
Well, maybe the segments they do, the backstage promos and all that. Maybe I would agree or get close to agreeing with you on that. But they always put on entertaining matches, though, and
that's true.
The work that these two have put on in the last 6 months, whether it's Angelo and Montez in their physique. With Angelo Dawkins losing a lot of weight and getting more cut, and Montez Ford adding weight but getting bulkier. I think she's already a great athlete. So is Angelo Dawkins, but Angelo Dawkins has been, I think he's the longest ever wrestler to stay in development.
Oh yeah,
in the farm system. Yeah, I think it was 6 or 7 years. That he stayed in NXT. Well, NXT before appearing on TV, he was doing the house shows, but he until he got like the real gimmick with the Street Profits here, he was the longest. I think he has the record for the longest in NXT. So I would like them maybe to get another title run, maybe really see how over they really are. Because their title run wasn't quite what we were looking for. It was still in the Vince era. So it wasn't really. They were doing a lot of that comedic stuff and shit. So I would like to see that serious title run to see how over they could get, or if they still have time together, or if it's time to separate them.
I think it's time to separate, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And then we had Akira Tozawa, which me and JLB are really happy that they're taking away the ninja gimmick for him and
yes,
giving him back his pure wrestling character, I guess. So Akira Tozawa was facing for the first time, I think,
ever. Well, no, not ever.
Maybe
This
not
is
ever.
China
Yes, exactly.
or
So
or Beth Phoenix.
I think both of them. Well, China guaranteed because China faced Chris Jericho, right? For
Right,
the
right.
Intercontinental title. She was Intercontinental title
Champion.
holder, champion.
Yeah,
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 exactly.
yeah.
So it's
That's right.
probably in the few times we agreed that we haven't
The
seen
we could say
intergender matches a lot in WWE.
since a decade, since it's been 10 years about.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Fair to assume it's been around 10 years. So we have Akira Tozawa versus Rhea Ripley. Okay, now let me give me let me okay. Let me rant over here for a bit.
Rant away, my friend.
So if
I
you're
like
gonna have
hearing
an
you rant.
intergender match,
I'm listening.
have it all the way. Don't do this fucking bullshit. No punches, no kicks. That Akira Tozawa is obviously not allowed to punch or kick Rhea. Okay, because that takes away from the match. People notice right away. It just doesn't fit. Listen, this is wrestling. I understand the whole suspension of disbelief here, but I don't think a kick from Tozawa done the way. I think he's professional enough to protect Rhea doing those kicks and punches. If he can protect a guy or a man getting those kicks and those punches, I think he could do the same to Rhea, and I think Rhea can definitely take them. Okay, so that's what I was pissed about was when I obviously noticed that he wasn't allowed to kick her and punch her. So please, if you're gonna do this in the future, an intergender match, please let them go all the way. See, they didn't mention that he wasn't allowed to kick or thing, or at least I think they didn't mention.
No,
but it
they
was
didn't.
obvious. So, but it was clearly obvious.
But what I agree with you, and I was telling myself, you cannot punch or kick, but yet you could go on the top rope and do a flying splash.
Yeah,
Like
I think he did a German suplex also.
yes,
if I'm not mistaken. So I think a German suplex, you have more risk of doing it wrong and injuring her than a kick to the chest or an open
a clothesline or something.
Open fist
Mm-hmm.
punch or whatever. So that's what I didn't like. I didn't like if you're gonna do that. I appreciate that Triple H is open to the idea because I've seen some intergender matches involving Candice LeRae and Penelope Ford that are absolute fucking bangers, like really, really good matches. So I don't think there's a problem here. These guys are professionals. These guys and these girls are professionals. They can protect each other. So that was my beef with Akira versus Rhea.
Very well said.
Rhea gets the pin here.
Mm-hmm. Well, we figured she was gonna win.
Yes. I have no problem with Rhea winning because Rhea has taken the top spot in Judgment Day.
I think she is Judgment Day.
Yeah. I think she is. I think without Rhea, Judgment Day collapses.
That
because Damian Priest is shit.
Mm-hmm.
He's okay in the ring, but he's shit.
I don't care about Finn.
I love Finn in the ring, but on the mic, he's shit. Mm-hmm. And Dominic, to maybe people's surprise here, Dominic is getting better. I think Rhea is making him better. This whole storyline with Rhea,
Mommy,
is making him better, and he's evolving and he's learning very quickly.
Okay,
he's still far away from being anything close to his dad or being a top guy, but he's definitely improving, and that's all I ask of him for now. I don't expect you to go to a 0 to 100 in 2 weeks, but if I see improvement and you progressing every week, then you're starting to win me over. So continue like that, and maybe eventually you can become maybe not a top guy, but a mid card guy or a top mid card.
But is on the storyline, is Dominic and Rhea a couple?
Well, they never really confirmed it, but that's what they're insinuating every time, right?
Right, because
that's it. It's back and forth. I think they're. I might be mistaken here, but I think like at one point they were like even holding hands or something. So
okay.
So I think that's what they're insinuating, but they never mention it
Right.
bluntly out front that they're a couple. So yes, and the main theme. So that was Akira versus Rhea Ripley. The main theme of this Raw episode was the bloodline was basically attacking everybody
Mm-hmm.
backstage,
Right.
coming to the ring. Basically, they were pissed. The Usos were saying that they run WWE. Well, the bloodline runs WWE, and that they're gonna show John Cena who really are the top dogs here. So that was the theme behind it. They were attacking basically everybody. Then we had the original club, the OC, versus Alpha Academy. Another very good match. Um these guys are Alpha Academy are good, and so is the OC. We know how the Good Brothers are good. This was because last week we missed the OC in because of Carl Anderson being in Japan, so he was back this week, and for January 4th he will be back in Japan. So to defend his title, his open weight title against Tamatonga. So it was good to see them back on Raw and have a good match. Enjoyed it. Many, uh, not too much of a story behind it. This is not to advance any storyline or anything. Well, other than the fact of the Usos attacking everybody there, but I enjoyed this match and it's good. When you have a 3-hour show, yes, you need to advance the stories that you're telling, so people get hooked and want to come back and watch the next week. But in 3 hours, you have time to put in matches that are going to be bangers and that people are going to enjoy watching. So I think this was one of them. The OC versus Alpha Academy with the Good Brothers getting the win here. Then we had what we talked about earlier, the Alexa Bianca segment backstage, where Alexa breaks the vase over Bianca Belair here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's continuing that story. Will Alexa, I have a question for you. Will Alexa take that belt off Bianca? Will it be Alexa?
Ooh, oof. Like now or
Well, their match is that Rumble, or is
like,
it next week?
I think it's next week.
Okay.
If it's next week, no. If it's at the Rumble, yes, with the help of Bray.
I think this would be the best time for this plot twist with Alexa and Bray. And the best way to start off this new gimmick or character for Alexa would be with the title.
Mm-hmm.
And I like what she said, what she told Bianca. She goes, "Listen, I was champion long before you even came into this company,"
Which is very true.
which is very true. And she could put on some matches. So I have no problem with Alexa. If it's to start off this new character, I have no problem with Alexa taking over this title from Bianca.
Do you think Alexa's gonna be with the doll or without the doll?
I don't think she'll be with the doll.
No, what?
I don't think she'll be with the doll. No.
I think it's be more edgier with Triple H now.
Yeah,
It's
I
be
think
more.
we haven't seen the doll in a while, right?
No. Well, technically, someone pointed on Facebook. Dexter had it in his nil puss there.
Oh, that he was moving around with him there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then maybe that was another hint that maybe Dexter's gonna be with Bray.
Yeah, because we know that these new the new head of creative, head of
Mhm.
creative is Triple H, but the one underneath him
Mhm.
really likes these Easter egg things, like
Yeah.
leaving hints here and there for stuff. So it might have something to do with that. We don't know. Dexter might be one of those 6 characters from the Wyatt the White Rabbit stuff going on.
Yeah.
So that's very very possible there. Then we had Miz versus Dexter here in a ladder match,
Mm-hmm.
which was okay. I enjoyed this ladder match. Some good
Mhm.
spots, some from both, and we had the return of Bronson Reed, aka Jonah, from New Japan Pro Wrestling.
What I like, I'm gonna assume this is Triple H is doing.
Yeah.
But not all of them, but most of them that come back, we don't know that they're coming back.
Yeah, most of them have been surprises. Yes.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it.
Nobody expected this.
I totally,
No,
to be honest with you, I totally forgot about him.
Jonah was having kind of he had a great G1
Yes, that I know. And
in New Japan.
he was an
Some
impact for a short while, right?
Then he was also an impact, but it really since he's gone, he's really flourished is in New Japan,
New Japan,
especially in that
yes.
G1. He had some great matches. Now recently he was more in the American division of New Japan, where
Hmm.
most of his matches were on New Japan Strong.
Hmm.
Um, some people are pissed, like, oh, why would you do that? Why would you come back to WWE? You were getting so good outside WWE. You know, now they're just gonna bury you, put you. Listen, you know how many wrestlers their number one dream
Thank you.
is to be in WWE?
Mm.
Like they've dreamed since they were kids. You know, like we dreamed when we were playing hockey in the streets that we played for the Montreal Canadiens,
Yeah.
or when we were playing soccer that we were playing for Portugal or whatever. Well, that's what a lot of wrestlers that are huge fans of wrestling growing up, usually their dream was all to be in WWE. So who the
I,
fuck are we to judge him for going back to and pursuing his dream?
I wanted to be Hulk Hogan's towel man, towel boy.
Yeah, why not? All that sweat and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. And he's, he's actually made a big impact in this. This was I like the way they did this comeback,
Yeah.
the way they did it. He had a big impact on the match. Okay, maybe some people would have liked the reaction of the crowd to be a bit better, but it was okay.
But
Like,
where were they?
oh, the city?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember now. I don't remember where they were.
Because it also depends. There's some cities that are like bomb, and there's some cities that are just nah.
Yeah, there's that also. Some cities react differently or have a
It wasn't Chicago.
more.
No, because if it was Chicago, they'd be freaking out. Chicago has a good fan base.
Yes, but there's something here to account for. WWE is a lot of, especially the main roster, is a lot of casual fans
It's
um,
true.
that watch just WWE, that would
That's
just
very
watch
true.
Raw or SmackDown.
Right. Right.
So some people don't know who Bronson Reed is. Like the
Mm.
people like us that watch AEW, that watch NXT,
Yeah.
and that are wrestling fans, like the pure wrestling fans. Yes, we know who Bronson Reed is. We know who Jonah is. But the casual fan that watches just SmackDown or Raw might not know Bronson Reed all that well, or might not have seen him many times. So it's okay. It was a shock for some that didn't know him, but the
Mm.
people that did know him did react, and he seems like a force, and that's where he needs to be. So that the whole problem with NXT moving up, with these guys from NXT moving up to the main roster during Vince's era, was how they were going to be booked on the main roster. And
Right.
now with that being out of the question, with having Triple H being the head booker here, uh, like we see how they're supposed to be developed. You develop them a certain way in your development system, and then you bring them on the main roster with completely different attributes that made him popular and good
Right.
in NXT.
And I hate
So
when they change their name. Like,
oh,
why?
that's the worst because already people don't know him, so you're confusing people even more. But so I think this was done. This was done right by Triple
Mm.
H, and I hope they continue. Okay, I guess it looks like he's going to be associated with Miz here,
Mm.
and we've seen other than
I
other than
think
what's his face that was with Miz before
Dexter,
the last one. No, that got hurt. That's out on injury now. Tommaso,
Tommaso, yes.
yeah, Champa. Other than Tommaso Ciampa, every time somebody's associated or given to be to go on TV or be associated with the Miz, it's, every time usually it works out good, except for Tommaso. But I don't know if they had enough time to develop that. But usually you work with the Miz and you get over it. So hopefully
Well,
he could be like the big bodyguard and the protector and the guy that maybe helps
uh,
Miz move up the ladder here
well, the
in the
way
main roster.
the way I see this planning out now is that it's gonna be a rivalry, and then the Rumble it's gonna be a tag match with Dexter and Johnny versus Miz and
Miz and
so
Bronson
Bronson
Bronson Reed.
with with perhaps Tamba Champa coming back and being with the Miz. So maybe Miz will have a little a 3-man stable.
Mm, you would say it would be like kind of a that would be a huge heel move because people, if Tommaso Ciampa comes back, like let's say, I would think a tag match would be more fitting for TV, and maybe have a Miz versus Johnny at a pay per view would be
Mhm.
more pay per view quality match, and then have Tommaso Ciampa come back where everybody thinks, and he makes it look like he's helping his good old friend from DIY, Tommaso Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Gargano, and maybe have him turn on Johnny Gargano and help Miz. That would be a huge heel, would get huge heat from the crowd, and I think that would be a good way to book it here in this whole Miz, Johnny Gargano, Dexter, and now Bronson Reed storyline. Uh, then we had probably the best match of Raw, and I'm so happy we got to see it here, was Sammy versus AJ Styles.
Yep.
Um, these guys are probably two of the best in ring wrestlers in WWE,
Mhm.
and they just perform. They just perform, and every time they every time they make it, they're involved in something. They make it work. AJ has been one hell of a soldier here for WWE since he's been there. He takes on anything that people ask of him, even sometimes if it's dumb or stupid, and
Mhm.
he just does it. So kudos to AJ Styles, and kudos for Triple H for booking this, because this has nothing to do with the Sammy storyline, with the bloodline,
Right.
but thing other than obviously again the Usos attacking the OC here. There's not been really a connection here between Sammy and AJ, and they let them have this match, and it was a great match. So really enjoyed this match. Maybe I would have even maybe I would have even put it as the main event of Raw. I think it deserved to be the main event. I guess we got a main event caliber match in the main
Mhm.
event here with Seth and KO versus the Usos. Um, and I know it fit the story that they were telling throughout Raw, because after the Sami and AJ, the attacking, the Usos, the Bloodline attacking, then them showing up on the Seth Rollins segment with
Right.
Theory. So I guess it was in the timeline of the story. It made sense, but I'm saying that Sami versus AJ was definitely deserved, or is definitely the caliber of a main event match for a Raw or a SmackDown. So I would have been okay with that. Then we had another fucking banger here. So Raw was full of bangers this week. Becky versus Bailey that we talked about earlier. They hadn't wrestled in almost 4 years, right?
Yes.
So that was insane. I really enjoyed. They have good chemistry together. It really seems like it's an easy flow
Yeah.
of
Well, when
when
you
they
have a good
wrestle.
dance partner, you know,
Exactly. So it takes two to tango, right? Like they say, and these two
Cincinnati.
know how to tango. So it was a great match. I really enjoyed it with Bailey coming out on top. So finally, we get Bailey. Bailey beating Becky is huge because since Becky came back from injury, she's been kind of beating up everybody.
Hmm.
So they were making her strong. And Bailey, for the contrary, was actually losing a lot of matches. So and I even mentioned last week on the podcast with JLB, saying like, at what point does Bailey get pissed off about her faction mates in Dakota Kai and Io
Hmm.
Sky always winning and her always losing? Well, we got a bit of the return of the balance here with Bailey winning over Becky. So I still don't know if Bailey will get a title run soon again, or if it's going to be Becky that will get a title run first. But
I think Bailey's gonna win the Rumble.
well, she has definitely a good chance of winning the Rumble. I don't think Becky can win. Well, she can obviously, um, but we've seen that, been there, done that. I guess with Becky
I think
in the
Bailey wins the
previous season.
Rumble, and I think that's when we're gonna see Charlotte.
Yeah, that could very well be possible because we need to see Charlotte because she's not injured and she's been out for over 6 months.
Mm.
So, like, yeah, it's time we see Charlotte.
and perhaps a Charlotte that's face,
Mm,
which is not that great of a Charlotte.
much,
Sh-
I prefer her heel because I think she's
yeah,
a better heel.
she's
But
a
she's over
she's.
enough to be a face. But I think Bailey is going to be the one to turn face here, probably.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think Bailey's going to be the one to turn face, and Charlotte would have to be. I think, like I mentioned this last week also. I think Damage Control turns on Becky on Bailey,
Mm.
and that makes Bailey a face. I think that's what we're going to see. Um, with the way things have been booked, I could see that. I could see that happening.
Okay, let's say you go with your way.
Mm-hmm.
You think Becky helps Bailey?
You t- do I think what? Repeat that.
You're saying that
Damage Control is going to turn
that
on Bailey.
yes, damage control, and when that happens, it's gonna be on two on one,
Mm-hmm.
and Becky's gonna come and help Bailey.
Oh, you think Becky come and do the save
Yeah.
with the yeah? I could see that happening. I could see that happening. I could definitely see Becky come and help out Bailey.
Mm.
We might even get a run of Becky and Bailey for a little tag team run for them because the women's tag team division is lacking in teams.
The way
So
it's since the beginning.
yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised here if we get because I think like we talked about before. I think Alexa might be the next
Woman.
champion
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
for to take the belt away from Bianca. So I wouldn't be surprised. Becky and Bailey are also the type of wrestlers that can go that are big enough names that can be on
Mm.
both shows on SmackDown and on Raw, which is needed for the tag team women's tag team division.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I think that's a good way. That would be a good way to book it in Bailey when Damage Control turns on Bailey to have Bex come and save the day and have a little rivalry because they are Damage Control are tag team champions, right? Um,
Do you think out of the top of the picture there, but do you think that that WWE needs to have another title for the women?
like a mid card title.
Yes, because now there's a lot of women.
Uh,
Uh, because there's a lot of women that are good, but they're not they're not good enough to be in the main picture.
um, yes, yeah. I think that's true. Yeah, there are some mid card women wrestlers there that would benefit from having a mid card
Like a
championship
Dewdrop,
or TV
then a
champion or
Brooke,
something like that.
then a Brooke, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I think it would be helpful. Um, some people might say, okay, there's too many belts after, but I think it could. I think it could help. It could help those mid carders elevate their status a
Mm-hmm.
bit. Yeah, I think I would be for that. I would be for a women's mid card title here. Um, so yeah, that was Becky versus Bailey. Very good match. Then we had the tag team of Seth and KO versus the Usos, which was also an okay match.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed KO coming to help Seth early on in the earlier segment when the Usos were about to attack. Um, Seth and KO getting the win makes sense. Also, getting the pin here. Um, I enjoyed it. This was mostly to advance the story between KO and Usos, but now we're seeing more and more like Seth getting involved in stories where the bloodline is concerned. So
Mm-hmm.
he basically was saying in the earlier segment during the earlier promo, he was saying that the only people that they haven't attacked is him because the Roman is scared of him. Blah blah blah. I'm paraphrasing here. So maybe we might see this match coming up soon of that we've been waiting for a while in Seth versus Roman eventually. Hopefully, I think Kevin Owens will be the next opponent, like going forward for the next month and a half. Like I guess the until the Rumble, I guess. But eventually, before Cody comes back, I would like to see a Seth versus Roman match because obviously when Cody comes back, he'll be attacking. He'll be getting back into a feud with Seth. Um,
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning at least. But before he comes back, which I think might be a bit before WrestleMania, I don't think he might appear at the Rumble
I
because
think he's gonna be at the Rumble.
it's a cheap
I
pop, it's easy pop to get. You know, if that team song goes
I
through, people are
wouldn't be
gonna go crazy.
surprised if he's number one.
Yes, yes. I think he can be number one and go maybe win it, but at least go a long time,
I already
like
have my
kind of a
I,
Flair in '92,
I already have my strategy of this,
which is
which is Cody's one and Rock is 30.
oh okay. So you'd see you obviously you would think Rock wins the Rumble, so he faces
Well,
Roman.
technically, he doesn't have no more movies in the moment because plans changed. So yeah, I
Plans
think
change.
he's
What do you mean?
because he's not doing no more the sequel of
Black Adam, yeah, but that
Black
was gonna
Adam.
be yeah, but that was gonna be filmed like in 2025.
Right, but
Uh-huh.
he's available. That's what I read. He's available.
I know he cleared a lot of his schedule between January and April. So he's obviously going to be involved here, one way or another. Um, it could be he wins the Rumble. It could be he's involved. I would rather see Seth. I would rather see Cody go number one and go all the way and win it, um, like Shawn Michaels did,
Yeah, yeah.
like Ric Flair did. So I would like that, but I can see if they wanted to make it a wrestling a championship match between The Rock and Roman.
Especially it's in Hollywood. Is it right? It's Hollywood.
Like I've said before, I don't think they need the championship belt for this match.
No, they
This
don't.
match
They don't.
to be a championship match. But I want to understand if they want to go that way because I guess Roman not losing, having a championship match against The Rock, and probably getting over on The Rock, probably solidifies his legacy there. But
I think Roman loses the title at Chamber, and that's when Cody wins it.
yeah, that's very possible. Very possible. I would like to Sammy or Roman, Sammy or Kevin win it at Chamber since it's in Montreal. But yeah, it's very possible that it could
But
be.
but like we said in the beginning of the story, that we think that Sammy and Kevin have something planned. I think comes for a circle at Chamber because I think those two are going to be at the Chamber,
Oh, they're definitely going to be at the Chamber. Yeah, but I could see that. I could see how
and
the
it's
plot
because
twist
of
comes at
it's
Chamber.
going to be because of Sammy Roman loses.
Okay, that's very
That's
possible.
how
Very
I see it.
possible. I think there's going to be definitely a plot twist with this whole Sammy Kevin Owens story
100%.
at the Elimination Chamber,
It's too good for that
and I
to
think it would be the perfect time to get Sammy really over.
yeah.
Because the crowd really is behind Sammy, especially in Montreal. We saw it the last time when SmackDown came,
Mm-hmm.
how insane the crowd was, especially in person for the people that were in person to see that. That
That
was
was
really good.
amazing.
So I could only imagine
But,
Sammy
yeah.
winning a title at the
Oh,
elimination chamber. Like the roof would literally blow off. So
it would be an Argentina parade.
yes, yes, and hopefully don't get their heads cut off by the cables. Um, so yes,
That's
that
supposed to
was
be
Raw.
funny, but yeah.
So, so that was Raw. Set and okay, wait. Let me be clear here. I'm not wishing that
No, I know, I know.
it actually happened. They were sitting on top of the bus and they were passing, and they had to at the last minute duck their heads because there was a like an electric cable that was passing, so that was there. So when they were sitting on top of the bus, so they saw it at the last minute, and they all had to kind of duck so they wouldn't get injured from this cable. That's what I mean. I wasn't like wishing their heads were taken off by the cable. It was actually something that happened during the parade. So
Mhm.
NXT. So that was Raw, and then we had NXT. I actually watched NXT for the first time in at least 2 months, or 6 to 8 weeks guaranteed. We had a good match. Not much to talk about here. I'll go quickly here. Carmelo Hayes versus Axiom. What a match! These are both great. This is Carmelo's probably, if not the last match, really he might have his last match at Evil. What is it called? New Year's Evil, right? So
Mhm.
so that's probably the one of his last matches before going up to the main roster. but Axiom is gold. This guy is gold. He probably has the potential of ending up being what Sin Cara could never do.
That's saying
That
something.
that's how I have high praise for Axiom. Then
That's
we
the
have
guy
probably,
with the full mask, right? We don't even see
yeah,
his face,
the
nothing.
full
Yeah.
mask. Yeah, he's a Spaniard from Spain, so not to be confused with Lucha Libre in Mexico. He is literally he was in NXT UK before.
He's European.
He's European, exactly. So then we had a match, probably one of my favorite wrestlers in NXT, women wrestlers, with Nikita Lyons here
Oh,
versus Zoe Stark.
that's my
Uh,
NXT crush.
uh, I'm disappointed. It seems so. Zoe gets a win here. It
Technically,
seems like
Zoe. I heard they got the call up.
yeah, I think she might be moving up soon. They were if,
Rumble.
they were supposed to remember at the SmackDown in Montreal. They were supposed to
Yes, that tag match with
wrestle, and it ended up being Toxic Attraction because
right,
Nikita wasn't vaccinated, so she wasn't allowed to get into the country.
right.
And it feels like since then they've
She's
kind of like yeah,
Punisher.
she's kind of slipped. I think I don't know if this is punishment from management, but it kind of because she's still way over with the crowd, but she keeps on losing and being how do I say being portrayed in lesser of
Hmm.
a good picture here
She
for
doesn't have
Nikita
the push that she used to have,
that she
basically.
was having at the beginning. Exactly what I wanted to say. So a bit disappointed here, but okay. Zoe wins on her way to the main roster. Then we have a triple threat tag team match with Diamond Mine, Toxic Attraction, and Toxic Attraction here without Mandy doesn't feel the same way.
No, it doesn't.
So
Well,
yeah.
Mandy's still making the money, huh? Did you hear about that?
Oh yes, we heard that. I think since she got fired, she has made $500,000 just in like the week that following her
Look,
release.
I don't.
So,
I don't. I might sign up for her thing, but for her to make 500,000,
well,
what kind of
listen.
pictures is she posting?
Um, well, listen. Some people make a lot of money posting pictures of their feet on
Well, that's true.
on OnlyFans. So we have some weird people out there. So I guess that's not surprising. But 500,000 a
Oh,
week, guys. Put that for people that can't do math. That's $2 million a month. That's a lot of fucking money, man. That's $24 million a year.
Jesus.
That's
With
more than any.
pictures,
That's more than Brock Lesnar, more than Roman Reigns.
and it's just pictures.
Yeah,
There's
and
no videos or anything, right?
she moved. I don't think there's. I'm not sure if there's videos or not. There's pictures guaranteed, and apparently the pictures have been getting more and more extreme. Let's put it that way.
So she's nude.
Well, topless. I think that's where her last involvement in her fan time account has been to go nude. Before she wasn't going has been to go topless. Sorry,
And what site is this?
fan time it's called.
Just want to see what it says. Am I gonna, or else my wife's gonna give me shit.
Well, because she moved since being released, she pumped up her
40.
price
Yes, $40.
to $40 a month. So yeah. So anyways, so yeah, back to that match. Yes, I think Toxic Attraction here is hurt a bit by not having Mandy because Mandy was definitely the star in that trios in that faction. But we had Chance and Carter retain the titles here. It was a good match. I could say I enjoyed the match. Nothing special, but I enjoyed the match. Then we had Indy Hartwell versus Elektra Lopez, the return of Elektra Lopez, which when Legado del Fantasma moved up to the main roster, we all thought that Elektra was going to move up with them. Well, plot twist, they kept Elektra in NXT and they put Zelina Vega with Legado del Fantasma. So now we saw the return of Elektra on her own. Elektra is also one I like her. She seems like she has the charisma to go far. We'll see. We'll see how it goes from here. Then we had the New Day defending their championships, their belts against Briggs and Jensen. Um, Nothing special here except the return of the Indian tag team of Veer Mahan and Sangha.
Mm-hmm.
So they had separated them. One was on SmackDown, one was on Raw. Still in the Vince era. So that's over. They put them back together, and they're actually could do what they're supposed to do, which is be a destructive tag team. Uh, I see them.
Natural disaster.
Yeah, I see them as more of like a Viking Raiders style tag team. So that's what they're supposed to be. Uh, they're not on their own. I don't think they have the charisma on their own or to be top stars. But I think they could definitely be top tag teams in the
Do
tag
they
team
have a
division.
Do they have a manager or a mouthpiece?
We didn't see on NXT anybody with them. It doesn't mean that it won't happen because since this was an attack type of thing, they really didn't need to mention anything. But maybe on next week's NXT, we'll get some answer, get some questions answered when it comes to Veer Mahan and Sangha. So I enjoyed seeing them back together. Um, don't expect them to stay too long in NXT. Just enough time to establish themselves as a strong tag team, and then they'll be moving up to the main roster pretty soon.
I see the old manager from of Week Ali with them.
Who's that?
Uh,
Davari?
no, the one with the really thick sideburns there.
Oh yes.
He, he was good.
I
He
know
was
who you're
close with Triple H. I think it was one of the writers or producers or
Okay,
something.
that's a possible. That's a possible. I think. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't remember his name, but I know what you're talking about. Yes. Yeah, I think that would be a possible if he can really take it to the next level on the mic and put these guys over. Why not? I think they do need a mouthpiece. Um, Maybe not for now. Just go in and destroy
No.
people.
I'm just saying in general. Like
Yeah, just for now, maybe just go in and destroy people,
right.
and then for a few weeks, and then have somebody come out with them and explain to them why these guys are back together and what they are looking for in as a tag team. Then we had the end of the segment. So basically, in the whole show, Grayson at the beginning of the show says, if Roxanne Perez had her title shot and her moment last week, didn't have to wait till New Year's Evil, then I want my shot this week. Also, I want my shot against Braun. I want my title shot because he won the Iron Man, the Iron Survivor Challenge. So he asks for a shot. Then the last segment of the show, it comes to the ring because the commentators had mentioned that Braun wasn't there, so he was kind of using acting tough with knowing that Braun wasn't in the building. Asking for a match, knowing that Braun wasn't in the building and he wasn't going to get a match. So then after we get cut to the back, and we get the Braun arrive in his car, come out and head to the ring, and comes to the ring and just spears Grayson Waller. And
I'm not a fan of this guy, man.
But like I said last week, his gimmick is to make people hate him. So I think he's doing great because people hate him. So that's for that. So he gives him the spear, and then we see he's like Braun is just like laying on top of Grayson.
Right.
Kind of looks like he's knocked out.
Right.
So Grayson gets out of underneath, and what does he do? Takes off his jacket and shows the metal plate. He pulled the Bret Hart on Goldberg on Nitro a few years back. 20 years about, maybe 20, a few more years than 20. 22 years about.
98, 99?
Yeah, around there. So a bit more than 20 years ago. And pulls out, he had like a kind of a bulletproof vest, and then underneath he had the metal plate. So I like that little wink to
Tribute,
the Bret tribute to Bret and Goldberg segment. I enjoyed that. And obviously we didn't get a match. So probably this match will stay on for New Year's Evil premium live event that NXT will be holding. So it was okay. For the first NXT that I've watched in a while, I was surprisingly content with the card. I really enjoyed the their last pay-per-view. So it got me kind of back into the the NXT the NXT world
Mhm.
there. So yeah, I enjoyed this NXT. Um, so that's with WWE this week. Moving on to what do you think of Dynamite last night
Oh, so what
overall?
I've watched, I was enjoying. That's the that promo of Starks. I died of laughter.
Yep. Starks is the man. Um,
It looked like a deep
already
fryer.
a few already
Uh,
2 weeks already 2 weeks ago he had probably with his promo in the ring with MJF.
yeah,
Um,
maxi pad.
yeah, the maxi pad promo. I think there he had the upper hand on MJF, which doesn't happen a lot in a in a
Mm.
promo battle. So that was surprisingly. I knew he was good on the mic, but I don't know he could pull through like this. And this week again, pulls through against one of the goats.
Mm-hmm.
Um, saying, how did he say he looked like?
Air fryer,
Yeah, air fryer. That was
air
great.
fryer, and I believe it was a stepdad from going through his
Yeah,
fifth
yeah. You
divorce.
look like yeah, you look like a like a buffed guy going through his fifth divorce, where they always try to bulk up and get feel younger. So yeah, I think that was pretty good. I think it was maybe
Mm.
I don't know. He didn't have to grab his balls like that. Like
And J stands for jobbers.
yeah, that was also good. And that
Jobber
uh,
one, jobber two.
the Jobber Appreciation Society. Yeah, and the crowd chanting that was nice. So Ricky Starks
I
is a
think he's gonna,
star.
I think he's gonna be the next champion.
Maybe not the next, but a future champion, definitely. Because I don't know if you go with
Well,
two with two young guys that are basically
Brian
AEW guys right away.
Brian has to win before he leaves because as soon as his contract is done, he's done.
Yeah,
So
but there's
Brian
still two
has to.
years left. There's still 2 years left. I think he signed a 3-year deal, so I think there's time for him to have a run there. I don't think he
Okay.
takes it from MJF now. I think there's no point in giving the belt to MJF and then taking it back a month later.
No, no, no,
Uh,
not like I bet he's not gonna be a champion for like 6 months.
mm,
I don't think so.
man, I think that would be a mistake. I think MJF has to be a champion for over 6 months, guaranteed closer to a year.
I don't think it's gonna happen, man.
He's their future. I think if you don't, if you have a short run with MJF, I think you're not using MJF to his
When's the
full
next
potential.
pay per view for All Elite,
Revolution,
which is in
February.
February, and then it's in April. Next one, right? It's every 2 months
No,
or May.
it's every 4 months,
It's May.
every 3 months.
May is
Yeah, May, double or
double or
nothing.
nothing.
Yeah.
So now till May is 5 months. Okay, so yeah, 5 months. I think he loses at double or nothing.
I would make him lose more at All Out. That's closer to a year. But it depends who pops up in these next 5 6 months. It depends if you see somebody gets really like one of these new guys or one of these
Yeah,
WWE
it's
guys
true.
gets really over, then I guess there's you can call an audible. But
Sorry.
I don't see
Everything
nobody.
changes.
I don't see nobody better than MJF right now to be champion in AEW. Like if if Tony Khan really wants to make his company anything close to competitive to WWE, MJF has got to be the one to carry the load here. Has to be. I think it's the only way you actually get even close to WWE. You want to see people want to see MJF on the mic every single week. He doesn't have to wrestle every week, but he has to be a big part of Dynamite every single week. Every single week, I want to see a 10 to 15 minute segment with MJF involved every single week. Carry that belt, and then that's the only way. Because I think if you put Brian, if you give the belt to Brian, then it's just well, at least in my opinion, it goes back to um, AEW being just
Mm-hmm.
WWE rejects winning titles there. And when I say rejects, I'm not saying that Brian Danielson is a reject What I'm saying is that you need WWE guys to put your company over,
No, hundred
and
percent.
then you're not, if you can't build your own stars, then you don't deserve to be competitive. You got to build
Mm-hmm.
your own stars, or else you're just using somebody else's stars that they built, and people will always see it that way.
Correct.
So,
Right.
I think MJF needs to carry the company here if you want to even see if you're able to go to the next level in competing with WWE. So yeah, so that was a great segment for Ricky Starks there, back and forth with Chris Jericho, with Daniel Garcia accompanying Chris Jericho, and which is Sammy Guevara. So then we had bang. This was we had match number 6. No
Yeah.
DQ, no DQ. Uh, well, match number 6 of a 4 of the best out of 7. With this one being a no disqualification. A lot of, since this was the holiday bash edition of Dynamite, there was a lot of Christmas oriented
Mm-hmm.
props there, Christmas trees and stuff like that. The sweep. I really enjoyed the broom with the barbed wire, with
Uh-huh.
Kenny just brooming
Sorry.
around the match.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning of this best out of 7, I was really questioning, like, okay, you're gonna get these guys to do 7 matches in a row, like, oof. But these guys are performing. These guys are backing it up every single week and making it a week before, like you're saying, how could they top this? And they top it again.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
obviously,
it's
we all knew they were going to take it to 7, right? Even at 3-1, we all knew
mm-hmm.
that it was going to be taken to 7 games. So I'm okay with what's up, Miguel?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed and really surprised by how they're outdoing themselves week in and week out with these matches. So and
It's like I don't know what else they could do. I think the next match is gonna be like a cage match or something because.
well, no, they announced it last week.
Oh, it's the ladder, right?
Yeah, it's the how do they say it?
Yes.
This
It sounds.
escalada de la muerte.
Yes.
So the ladder of death match. So as a match, as a 7 game or 7th game out of a best out of 7 series, I think it's a perfect way to end this between these two trio
It's
teams, and I
is
think
it?
this is going to be the best of all the 7 matches.
It's 3-3 now.
Yep, with that triangle had taken the lead 3-1,
Right.
and they've won. Wait a second, did they take the lead 3-1? Oh yes, they did, exactly. They took the lead
Yeah.
3-1 last week. With Kenny Omega asking for the no disqualification match this week, which makes it 3-2 now. No,
Mm-hmm.
wait, I'm confused. Wait, I'm saying
I
something.
thought it
wrong.
was 3-2. Like this one made it 3-2.
Yeah, because they did win last week, right? Dead Triangle.
Yeah, they made it 3-2. Now,
Okay, so next week is not the ladder match,
no,
right?
I
So,
think it's
okay,
the one. I think it's
the one after.
uh,
Okay. So that's right. Sorry for the confusion here. But yeah, so next match, I don't know if there's going to be a gimmick in this match. Like this one was a no DQ, and the 7th match will be a ladder match. They're probably going to come up with another gimmick for this next match, but I have no doubt these guys are going to outdo themselves because they do it every single week. And I know that I've bashed Young Bucks in the past, and Lucha Bros for that matter, especially when they faced each other as tag teams, for like the spot checking and like the waiting for the guys to hit their spots. But they've actually gotten better. They've actually improved in that area, and I've seen it a lot in these matches and these trios matches. So they don't do that as much. Yes, there's some spots that we see a lot from these teams that we see in these matches, but I think they put it, the storytelling and the psychology that they do, that they've been doing for this best of 7 series is phenomenal.
mhm.
So it's really probably the best part of AEW programming right now, in the last few weeks. So that was the best of 7 series match, with the Elite making it 3-2. Then we had the Bryan Danielson promo, basically with Renee Paquette in the ring, and basically saying, what do you think about MJF attacking Regal? So he goes on a rant about how Regal was very, very important for his career,
Mhm.
I'm very surprised of him mentioning, but
Sean.
like Sean, yes, in San Antonio, because you should have deducted there that that Sean was going to get a pop and a chant in his own hometown city. So I don't know if he should have went that. I don't know if Tony. If I would have been Tony, I would have been pissed.
But
Um,
why?
well, because you don't want your fans chanting. You don't want to give promotion to your competition on your main show.
But
When Sean is the head, Sean is the head
mhm.
of creative and running NXT. Um, as the promoter and as the owner of that company, I wouldn't want you giving free publicity to your competitors there, and you should have seen that coming.
Sorry, sorry.
They should
Yeah.
have seen that coming. Being in San Antonio, that you mentioning Shawn Michaels, that you were gonna get a Shawn chant, and you saw it in his face that he was like, "Oh shit," and he tried to cut the fans off right away by continuing the promo. So, like I said, if I would have been Tony, I would have been pissed. That's not what I want. I have no problem. I have no problem in putting over William Regal in this segment
Hmm.
because Regal is part of the story
Right.
that's being told here. Even if now he is with the WWE, so I have no problem with Regal. But if I would have been as a fan, I love the Shawn Michaels is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, if not my favorite wrestler of all time.
Mm-hmm.
As a fan, I love the fact that the fans started chanting CM Punk, but it just shows
CM
them.
Punk.
Minga, wow, what a
What?
brain fart.
That's a twist.
What a brain fart. Sorry, guys.
Of all
Really meant
people.
Shawn Michaels here. Yeah. So
HBK. Yeah.
HBK, yeah, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, being mentioned here. I think that shows the junior. No, junior is not the word, but
Unprofessional.
no, not unprofessional, because I don't think it's unprofessional. I think it shows the unexperience of
Not scripted.
Tony Khan here. And no, because I'm sure they've mentioned this before, that Tony Khan asks for what are you going to say up there, even though it's not scripted, he usually knows what they're going to be saying up there. I don't know if Brian told him that he was going to mention Sean by name. If he didn't, then I can't blame Tony for it. I still think he should be pissed. But if he did, if Brian did mention that he was going to get he was going to mention Sean's name here, then I would have hoped that Tony was like, no, it's just a cheap pop for you to get for Sean, and I don't see no reason in the storytelling here for you to mention that. So
Right.
that would have been me. It's a kind of a junior-esque move from Tony Khan here. So whatever, it's not the end of the world, but as if you're really serious about being competitive with WWE, why do you think WWE never mentions AEW, and they never mentioned WCW back in the day during the wars?
Mhm.
And WCW always mentioned WWE, and AEW seems to fall into that rabbit hole of always wanting to mention and bring up your competition. You don't give free publicity to your competition. It's just that. Do you see the NFL promoting XFL under programming? No,
No.
they're not going to talk about the XFL when a quarterback throws down a touchdown, and the guy after the game is the man of the match, and he goes, "Yeah, I would like to thank Tom Brady because Tom Brady showed me." It just doesn't feel right. You don't promote your competition. But anyways, I think I already spent too much time on that. But that's my opinion on that. So yeah, that was his promo, and they're not. So we saw Stokely. That's it. That's what I wanted to say. We saw Stokely come out with Ethan Page, basically, and basically calling out Brian, saying you're not going to skip in front of the line here. Basically building up for a match that they will be having next week. So I don't know if it's a number one contender match, but it will be Ethan Page versus Bryan Danielson, which should be a good match. I think Ethan Page and Bryan Danielson will fit perfectly for a wrestling match. So yeah, then we had a hook, basically a quickly in action with a quick squash match,
Mm-hmm.
and then we saw backstage the guys attacking Big Bill, which I'll reiterate from last week. What a stupid name. Um, so Big Bill and the other guy in the Lee Moriarty, if I'm not mistaken, basically attacking Jungle Boy
Mm-hmm.
backstage and giving him a chokeslam into a dumpster. Then you see Hook heading towards backstage. Looks like was going to go help out Jungle Boy. Then we have Moxley versus Darius Martin of Top Flight.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that they gave Darius here a shot against Moxley here.
Which
Um,
is number 2 in the top 50, I believe.
what do you mean?
I saw something that he was number 2 in the. Go ahead. When I
Number
find it.
two, who Darius Martin was number two, and
No, Moxley's number 2.
oh, okay, in the well, not the PWI, but whatever
Yeah.
the ring, not the ring because that's boxing. In the ropes, in the ropes, between the ropes magazine, I think it's called.
Yeah.
That they
Yeah.
did the top 50, and
CM,
John is
just want to go back for a second. CM Punk is in top 5.
oh, he had a good year, I guess. Even though I hate him, but he had a good year. He was he
What
had
good year.
he probably had the best match of the year with MJF in that dog collar match.
Well, it's true. It's a whole year. Huh? It's this. That was this year. Huh? Never mind.
Of
Okay.
course. It was
The
at
year
All Out.
passes too fast. Yes.
It
Yes.
was
Yes.
in August. It was not even like 4 months ago.
Oh my god. Time flies.
And he had probably with the best build up to a match with the promos back and forth with MJF. So
Well, that's
you know,
true.
I like to shit on the CM Punk, but I'm also a realist guy, and that's he had a good year, even though he was a cancer, and like Bob Hartley would say, it was a big mistake for them bringing him in because you don't bring a porcupine to a balloon party, right? It's the fucking best saying. Only Bob Hartley comes out to these sayings. It's fucking great, and that's what they did with CM Punk.
Bob Hartley and the
But
coach.
yeah, he's the one that said that on the radio. It was context, quick, paraphrasing outside of this. He said about Hoffman and Dandonoff being sent down to Laval.
This is a head coach for hockey. People, just let you know.
Yes, for people that don't follow hockey too much, he's a head coach in hockey. In an interview, he was saying that two of the guys that suck with the Canadians, the host was saying, why not send them down to the farm team? And that's when Bob Hartley replied, I don't know if that's a good idea because I don't know if it's a good idea to bring a porcupine to a balloon party. And I thought that was great, and that's what they did here with CM Punk, bringing CM Punk into AEW. But that's another story. I do think he deserves to be in the top 5 of best wrestlers of the year because of what he did this year. Even though if I hate him, so
Back to Moxley.
yes. So that's it. So Mox versus Martin. I really appreciate that they gave this opportunity to Martin, which was a very it was kind of a squash. So like okay, but he did put on some nice how do you say, high flying maneuvers there a bit. But it's still just to be in the ring on a Dynamite with Mox gives you visibility. So whether it's a squash or not, I don't think it hurts him that much. This is Mox. So I don't think the squash hurts his Darius Martin too much. But I really appreciate that they gave them this TV time with Mox. So a lot of people will now know who Darius Martin is. I don't know if they'll make a big difference, but at least he was there in the ring with him. So that was it. Then we had FTR versus the Guns.
See that you lost me there.
That's where you stopped. You haven't watched the rest.
I stopped at Moxley.
For an FTR match, I was disappointed.
Do you think that FTR is going to go to WWE?
I think it's a possibility. I think FTR are about validation.
Yes.
They don't care about AEW versus WWE.
Right.
They want to be recognized and as one of the top tag teams in the world. And to be recognized as one of the top teams in the world, you got to get paid like one of the top tag teams in the world. So I think in their view, whoever gives them more money or guarantees, I guess, will be the ones that's signing FTR.
Because I
wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if FTR has like a little. They want a bit of free agent time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, which I think Dax has mentioned this before. So, from the time that their AEW contracts expire and the time that they sign new contracts, I think they'll have a period there where there'll be free agents and they'll go wrestle independent scenes and stuff like that. Do what they want to do, some dream matches that they've wanting to have, and then eventually, maybe even that's gonna raise their value more and have a bidding war. You know, like the bidding war of 2024, according to MJF. Well, I
Yeah.
think FTR has a potential here of doing this kind of bidding war if they use that time in between contracts to up their value there. So that being said, this match against the Guns or the Ass Boys, if you will, was
Mhm.
disappointing here. I
Well,
really didn't. Maybe my expectations were too high, but yeah, the Guns are nowhere close being
mm-mm.
championship material.
No.
Nowhere close. So that's that about the Ass Boys. So now I understand why they put Daddy Ass Billy Gunn with the Acclaim, because having him with his sons is a complete fucking waste of time and waste of talent. And
Mm.
when I say waste of talent, I'm talking about Billy Gunn, not the Ass Boys. So yeah, disappointing match. If I were to give it a rating out of 5, I would give it a 2.5 on 5.
Holy shit.
And for 7-star FTR, right? Because that's their gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
7-star FTR. It's disappointing. They should be able to carry
Mm-hmm.
a team like the Ass Boys, because they have the basics. The Ass Boys, they're just not charismatic enough, I guess would be a good word for this. But disappointing that the FTR wasn't able to elevate the Guns or this match in any way, at least in my opinion. So that's that. And then we had oh yeah, this is fun. This is something I suggest you go back and watch,
Mm-hmm.
because it was a fun segment. Rick Ross is a boss. When you can say motherfucker live on TV, because he said this guy's a big motherfucker or a bad motherfucker, I don't remember. Talking about Keith Lee,
Mm-hmm.
and basically Swerve comes out and introduces his new faction, which is called Mogul Affiliates or Mogul Associates. Shit, I think it's affiliates. Mogul Affiliates, which is Parker Bordeaux,
Mm-hmm.
the next they were saying the next Brock Lesnar at one point,
Mm-hmm.
with what's his name, Gardner Goatsman. This guy has all the tattoos. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but he has all the tattoos. Really big guy, 6'4", former draft pick from the Tampa Bay Rays. Was an outfielder in baseball. Was a professional baseball player, playing in the minors, if I'm not mistaken, until last year. And for the last year, has been training with, I think it's Jay Lethal.
Wow.
Has been training with Jay Lethal. So now we have Swerve's 2 new members of this Mogul affiliate faction, being Parker Bordeaux and this guy Gardner Gardner Gottsman. So if I'm pronouncing it right. So that's interesting. And Rick Ross announces a partnership between Mogul Affiliates and Maybach Music. So that was great. Hopefully, we're going to see more of Rick Ross, because fuck, he's entertaining. Hopefully, we're going to see more on AEW programming. So that was cool. And then we had the main event of the evening is Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. Very good match. Oh yeah, very good match. I think Hayter is the right pick here for Women's Champion.
Mm-hmm.
And not to take anything away from Shida, she's also great. This was back and forth matches with. I would have liked to see a bit less involvement, but which it wasn't that much, but a bit less involvement from Britt and Rebel. I think her name is. but whatever. I know it's part of the story that they're telling. Great match. I'm okay with Jamie Hayter winning here, keeping the belt. Of course, I want to see a nice run from Jamie as world champion. This story doesn't look like it's over. We had Saraya also coming. We had Tony Storm coming to help.
Mhm.
Sheeta. Then we had Saraya coming to help Sheeta and Tony Storm. So this story is not over. That was the end. I think it was a deserving main event for AEW. Having this match, maybe when people see this woman's championship match shouldn't have maybe the trios match between Dead Triangle and the Elite should have been the main event. But I'm okay. I'm definitely okay with this being the main event. It was a fun match. All right, so that's your rundown for this week
2 hours and
before
40 minutes.
Christmas.
Oh, shit.
And so now we're gonna go. I had something to mention about about Enzo, former partner of
Go ahead.
Big Cass.
Big Bill.
But I think yes, which is Big Bill now. But we'll keep it for another day because we're kind of short on time, and we'll keep it for another day where maybe JLB and Jeff are with us, so we'll make more of a fun debate here about talking. If you guys want to go look it up and prepare for this debate, so actually you're ready to interject when we do have this debate. It's basically Enzo talking about MJF's mic skills and how he would pair up to MJF. So it's an interesting two probably of the best talkers of the last 10 years, probably in MJF and Enzo. So we'll keep it for a further where we're more, and it's going to be a more of a lively debate. So in this episode of our Wrestling Talk Now podcast of Year in Review, we decided to do basically our best and our worst wrestler, match, feud, and pay-per-view. So let's start with pay-per-view. We're gonna end with match, and let's start it with pay-per-view. Go ahead.
Are we talking in general or one of each?
No, in general.
In general, okay.
Yeah, in general. You can mention, like, let's say you're saying your best pay-per-view, and you could say, like, okay, for example, my best pay-per-view was All Out, but it really came close to
Okay.
was a close second, and you mentioned the WWE one, but it's
Mhm.
really in general here. So let's start off with the pay-per-view. What was your okay? Let's start off with the worst. What was your worst pay-per-view of the year?
Of the year. I wrote this down and I don't have it anymore. Great. Okay. Worst. It was after trying to remember this.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. You could start.
Okay, I'll start.
Start.
Okay, I'll start. So, worst pay-per-view in my opinion of the year. Okay, now it's controversy time over here. So, I was stuck in between 3 pay-per-views. I was stuck in between Elimination Chamber on the WWE side of last year, which was in Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
I was stuck with, and then the 2 other ones that I was stuck in AEW pay-per-views was All Out because of the whole thing with the scrum, with the press conference, the whole story with CM Punk and everything. I think it took away from the pay-per-view. So I was kind of debating, but I had to go with Double or Nothing as my pick for the worst pay-per-view of the year. And I'll explain why. Out of the 10 worst matches that I went back, I did some research. I looked into different websites about the best and worst
You went
matches.
all in on this, huh?
Yeah. The best matches and worst matches of the year. And Double or Nothing, surprisingly, which I totally agree with, because sometimes it's hard to remember all these things and all these matches that happened in all these pay-per-views. So, and then it reminded me that at Double or Nothing, 3 out of the 10 worst matches of the year happened at Double or Nothing. Which were should have wrote them down. But let me see. I'll tell you right now. AEW matches of the year.
Was that the Was that the pay per view where it had the ladder match with like four big guys?
The casino, yeah, the casino battle royale,
Yes. Okay. Yes.
which was um, which was
Keith
also one
Lee.
of them. No, no, no. Okay, so I'll tell you the three matches here. I have them here. So this was the Deadly Draw tournament. Dynamite. Which one is this? The World Championship Eliminator tournament. Was this at Double or Nothing? Fight for the Fallen.
Mm.
All out of 20. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at 2020. No kidding. I wasn't gonna
You're,
find it here.
you're a bit
Um,
behind.
yeah, I wasn't gonna find it here. 2022, buddy. Um, that's why it didn't seem like the ones. Didn't seem like the ones I was had seen earlier. So okay, so let's go. Double or Nothing. Adam Cole versus Samoa Joe in the final of the Owen Hart tournament.
Yes.
Um, what else? Ruby Soho versus Britt Baker, which was a horrible match. I remember even ranting about that, complaining about that. And
Was it?
the other,
I don't remember that much.
and the other worst match that was part of Double or Nothing this year was this is all out. Oh, it was the number one. Sorry, it was the number one. That it's the number one worst match of 2022 in AEW. Was at Double or Nothing. Jade Cargill versus Anna Jay, which is the worst match of. Well, one of the worst matches of the year. I maybe not agree that it's the worst match of the year, in my opinion, but maybe if you move them around a bit. But I definitely think that these three matches were part of the worst matches of the year, and they coming all from the same pay per view, I would have to go with Double or Nothing as being the worst pay per view of the year, in my opinion. So yeah, that was the worst. Now let me go with the best. The best, I was kind of debating between Forbidden Door and Clash at the Castle. I decided to go with Clash at the Castle because we had four very good matches at Clash at the Castle. The crowd was super into it. Really enjoyed the crowd reaction. We had Roman Reigns versus Drew. That was a very good match. We had Liv versus Shayna. Maybe not as good of a match, but still it was an okay match. I think it was better. It was better than the one with Ronda. Then we had Rollins versus Matt Riddle, which was a fucking banger. And we had Gunther and Sheamus, which was also a fucking banger. So I will go with the best quality matches at a pay-per-view. I would have to go with Clash at the Castle this year as best pay-per-view of 2022. So are you ready with your worst and
yes,
or best?
yes.
Okay, go ahead.
My worst was the Saudi Arabia Chamber.
Yeah.
Just because it was in Saudi Arabia. Like, no. The best was this year's SummerSlam.
Oh yes, the war with the
new era.
Exactly. Exactly. The beginning of the new era for Big Red.
Yeah.
I also enjoyed SummerSlam. It was one of my when I was going down the list of which one I was gonna pick, it was definitely up there in the top 5 that I brought it down to.
It was tied with the Forbidden Door. That I decided, no, it's SummerSlam
because of what it represents. I'm totally fine with that. I'm totally okay with that. It's a good pick in my, and so that was your worst and your best. Okay, so now let's go. That was the pay-per-view. Let's go with
match. The match is last, right?
Yeah, I think match. We could pick match last. Oh no, let's pick. Okay, let's go with feud. Then we'll go with match, and we'll finish with top wrestler, top and worst wrestler.
We're not doing like best, like we're like top story or anything like that, right?
Well, feud would be the one you could use as a top story because that's where it would be. So let's go with worst feud and best feud. Worst feud. I'll start off. It wasn't really hard, but I didn't remember this feud. That's how worthless it was. So I have to pick it. Definitely Edge versus Miz. that whole back and forth
Yeah.
was probably for me the worst feud of 2022. I think it was didn't it, did- there was no real payoff here for either, um, and I don't think it gained anything for the fans. So I will have to go with Edge versus Miz as the worst feud story of 2022. Um, where I had a bit more of a hard time to pick the best feud of um, of 2022. I was really um, torn. Is the word I'm looking for. I was really torn between these two feuds, and I'm still torn. And as I'm speaking to you right now, I still don't know which one to pick. But since I just feel like shitting on AEW today, I'm gonna go with Seth and Cody as the best feud of
Yeah.
2022. Obviously, I'm gonna mention the other one, which is MJF and Punk,
Mm.
um, some of the best promos of the year came from that feud. So I wouldn't be intellectually honest if I would just like leave them behind without mentioning them. But I'm gonna go here live on Wrestling Talk Now as my best feud of 2022. Seth freaking Rollins against the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And hopefully when Cody comes back, that feud will continue. So that is my best feud of 2022. Go ahead.
Mm. A worst match of was
Feud?
feud was well, I'm gonna start with best.
Okay, go.
Best feud was like you said, Cody and Seth. Basically anything Seth was in. Uh, basically Seth with Cody. And worst feud was oh yes, CM Punk and Adam Page.
True. That was also a disappointing, definitely a fucking disappointing
Disappointing.
feud there.
Yeah.
We would have expected more
Yes.
from those two. I totally agree. I don't think that's a bad pick at all. People, the caliber of you have a former, well, not former, he was champion at the time, right? Adam
Page.
Page,
Yeah.
and probably one of considered, let's just say, considered one of the best of the last 15, 20 years, both on the mic and in the ring. You would expect better feud coming out of those two. So yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that pick from Big Red. Go with your worst. Oh no, that was your worst.
That was the worst. And I was like, what? That was our
Yeah,
worst.
sorry. You're right. So remind me, what was your bet? Oh, Seth and Cody. That's right. Okay,
Seth and Cody and AKA wherever Seth was in.
yeah, that's perfect. So now we go to best and worst match of the year of of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go with worst. I'll start off with worst, and I think this is also falls more into maybe not being the worst, but I'd still call it the worst, but maybe the most disappointing match for me. Um, and basically because it's still fresh in my mind, but I'll definitely go here with Saraya versus Britt.
Really?
Um, as worst match of worst slash disappointing match of the year.
Mm.
I think Saraya was very rusty in this match. I think Britt did a great job of carrying her and protecting her, but sometimes it was too obvious that she was protecting Saraya here, and Saraya was a bit of, I guess, butterflies in her stomach, first time back in a lot of years, some ring rust, because she did say that she hadn't been practicing in the ring up to until maybe the week before when she got full clearance to wrestle again. So maybe they should have waited and get her back her wrestling juices back
Mhm.
to full pin. So I'll go with Saraya versus Britt Baker as my worst match of 2022. For my best match of the year, I have two. I really, really enjoyed FTR versus the Briscoes Part 3,
Mm.
the dog collar match. I think it was the first ever tag team dog collar match. Really enjoyed it. Like, really, really enjoyed it. If anybody hasn't seen it, it's at Final Battle a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. It was their third match of the series between FTR and Briscoes that were probably all match of the year candidates. I have no problem with mentioning those other two matches as also top matches of 2022. But I really enjoyed, and since there's no other mention here of New Japan in these best and worsts that I have picked for this year, I'm gonna go with the G1 match between Okada, because they've faced twice, Okada and Will Ospreay.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm specifically talking here about their G1 match, which was off the hook. Wrestling Clinic. For anybody that hasn't seen that, go watch it. If you have only one, you know what? If you only have one, if you could only watch one wrestling match this year, go watch Okada versus Will Ospreay. You will not be disappointed. So I will go with. It was very hard to pick between the Dog Collar match with FTR and the Briscoes, but I'm gonna have to go with the New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 match of Okada versus Will Ospreay, which I think was a semifinal match. I'm not 100% sure. It was either quarterfinals or semifinals, but it was top. So that was my match of the year. Okay, and now I guess we can go to the best.
I didn't give mine, huh?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. I just want to roll through over here. Go ahead.
I'm going to start with my worst match. I have two worst matches.
Okay.
One is we're gonna go. I went with Adam Cole versus Keith Lee at the Owens final.
Adam Cole versus Samoa Joe, you mean?
Samoa Joe, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said Keith Lee. Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
We've been waiting so long for someone to do something with Owen Hart, and we get that.
Yeah, it was a kind of disappointing, lackluster for sure.
Yeah, especially with the trophy ceremony, like no.
Yeah, the belt and all that. Yeah, it felt pretty flat there.
Yeah. And also Moxley versus CM Punk, where Punk got hurt.
Oh yes.
Okay. Like I was expecting more with a really bad finish.
Mm-hmm.
For best match, there's so many, but so I'm just
a lot of good matches this year. Yes.
So I'm just taking one that I'm so fresh with, and that's FTR versus the Acclaimed.
Yep, it was a very good match. Very good match also. I have nothing bad to say about that match. I think the Acclaim could have been a bit better. But they did good. They're getting better. They're getting better every week. And I think yes, FTR did carry a bit of this match, which is why I was a bit disappointed about with the Ass Boys, because they couldn't do that same thing. But that's why I guess the Acclaimed are champions and the Ass Boys are who they are, Ass Boys. So I'm okay. I'm okay with that pick. FTR versus the Acclaimed was an entertaining match, and I think it was probably safe to say that was the Acclaimed best match ever.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think you would agree with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Acclaimed here for Big Red's the Acclaimed versus FTR for Big Red's best match of the year. Okay, so now the controversy starts, and the Kid Crazy heat creating picks are going to be interesting here, especially for our two co-hosts that are not present with us. I'll pick my worst. Let's start with worst wrestler of the year.
Oh boy.
And he's the fucking stupid. He has a stupid gimmick. I know he was big on the internet and social media, but bro, now you've arrived to the big leagues and you fucking suck. I hate his voice. I hate his face paint. He never wrestles, and when he does wrestle, he gets squashed and he fucking sucks. And he's done housing. He's done housing. I really, what a waste of a signature that was for AEW. He brings absolutely nothing to the table.
He's a comedy act.
Yeah, he's a comedy act. Yeah. Go on Saturday Night Live. You're a comedy act. This is fucking where the big boys play right over here.
It's WSAW.
He brings absolutely. I find he brings absolutely nothing to the table. I know some people. Some people might say, "Oh, he brings maybe more of the internet wrestling fans to the table," but uh, I I don't agree. I would like somebody to give me metrics um, about like they do for other situations, like MJF. When MJF segment is on, we know how much the viewers or the ratings peak. I would like to see how bad they do when fucking this bum is on TV. Um, that's it. Worst waste of breath of TV time in 2022 is definitely Danhausen. I curse you. That's it. So my worst wrestler of the year in 2022 is fucking Danhausen. Um, and the my best, I think I've already spent too much spit on because of my lisp spit on fucking Danhausen. So let me move on to the best wrestler
Uh,
of 2022. And this I was really stuck between two guys. Um, I think MJF and Roman Reigns are definitely
wow.
the top two guys in the business right now. Well,
Yeah.
they're both heavyweight champions. Um, I really I really like MJF. I probably would say that I like MJF better than I like Roman Reigns.
Hmm.
But Roman Reigns was champion throughout all of 2022. Put on, yes, I know he doesn't wrestle a lot, uh, but that's part of the game. He's the top dog, so he got the right to wrestle a part time schedule. He had his matches were almost all good matches, so I wouldn't feel right if I wouldn't go here with Roman Reigns as the top wrestler of 2022. But a special shout out to MJF because I think he deserves recognition also.
Very well said.
So give us your worst and best wrestler of the year.
What I was thinking, do I go easy and just pick someone that I don't like, or do I really dive in? So I dived in.
Oh, good.
Worst wrestler. I'm probably gonna get heat for this, but Moxley. Oh yes,
Ooh.
I don't.
Explain, please explain. Interesting.
His promos are shit. You know, all this shit moving are shit. His matches are boring. If he thinks that he's extreme, he doesn't know what ECW extreme is, because what he does now is boring and it's repetitive, and I don't like it.
Well, definitely, I'll give you this. I definitely support your statement about the promos, as they are his promos. Even though I think he's one of the best talkers in the business, I
But there's
think
no.
his promos are very recently, or like in the past months, are very
They're-
repetitive.
They're
Are
flat.
very repetitive, and it's always the same thing he's
Yes.
saying, right? That I'm going to beat you up, I'm going to lick
Yeah.
your blood, and
Oh, I hope so. You're a wrestler. You're not gonna play Barbies.
Now his matches, I'll agree
No.
a bit less because I think he could put on both good technical matches and
No.
put on more of the street brawling matches style of matches. But I'll definitely agree with the promos that he's been disappointing recently. Now the point all the way to go. I don't know if being shitty or being repetitive promos recently in the past few months is enough for that I would make him one of the worst wrestlers of the year. But I respect that it's your choice, and I understand where you're coming from also, because I think we talked about this last week with the JLB, where the promos are definitely starting to sound always the same shit, you know. So maybe innovate a bit. I don't know. I was going to say something stupid, so I'm not going to say it, but maybe he should try to find his creative juices again. So maybe take a few weeks off, take a vacation with the vacation he was supposed to take after All Out. Maybe it's time you take it, and then maybe reflect on what you can bring to the game once you come back. Because definitely the promos, you're starting to be repetitive and it's always the same thing. We need maybe an innovation here and a reinvention. I don't say you don't need a new Moxley or do like Jericho does, that he reinvents himself, new characters and new stuff all the time, but maybe like a new twist to him.
Mhm.
Maybe a full blown heel turn, like instead
Mhm.
of walking the line of being an anti-hero, uh, being walking the line between heel and face, maybe a full blown heel turn would give him rejuvenate um, his AEW stint here,
Yeah.
because I definitely think um, he needs a boost here. But to go all the way to be one of the worst wrestlers, where I think um, he was champion for quite a bit. Well, he carried the championship, the interim championship, when CM Punk got hurt. So okay, it's a bit, I think, harsh, but I understand where you're coming from, and I respect it. So that was your worst wrestler
Well,
of the year,
that was one of
John
them.
Mox.
That was one. I had another one, but we'll stay with that one.
Okay, go ahead. Give me your best.
My best, again, I could have went easy and just say Seth, because whatever Seth touches is gold.
Mhm.
But I'm going with Rhea Ripley.
Ooh, that's a good pick, actually. That's a good pick.
Yeah.
What have you seen this year from Rhea that's made you go with her as your best wrestler of the year?
There's not that many women wrestlers that we could say that when there's a stable, that the woman is could be a leader of that stable.
Yeah,
Ripley can.
she definitely can. She definitely proved that she could,
Yeah.
because she's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like we've said earlier today, without Rhea Ripley, Judgment Day collapses.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she's put on some great matches. She's
Mm-hmm.
had a great year, coming back from her little health issues. Um,
That's
creative juice.
that's that's JLB with that la. That's how we know it's JLB.
um,
Mr. AKA Michael Cole.
yeah, but yeah, Mox definitely needs to get those creative juices going again. But yeah, I definitely respect Rhea Ripley as a pick for best wrestler of the year. I think it's fair. She's definitely been one of the top women wrestlers of the year, guaranteed. And
Mm-hmm.
all around, like we just said, she has been carrying the Judgment Day, so she deserves a bit more weight in that category. She also would. I would like to see in 2023 a nice little wrestling championship run from Rhea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm definitely down with that. It would be time. She's she could. I think she has the credibility to carry the women's division here
Oh,
in WWE.
100%. Yeah.
So yeah, that's a very good pick. Very good pick. Definitely well deserving for Rhea. So yeah, so that was our year in review and our picks for best worst pay-per-view feud match and wrestler of the year 2022. And that's our pick. Maybe a bit controversial in some aspects, but that's what we're here for. If you guys don't agree, you guys are always welcome to interact with us and tell us who are your picks for best and worst wrestler, star, feud, pay-per-view match of the year 2022. Because next week we're technically still in. We'll still build. We will technically still be in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So if you listen to this on off the live, when we're not live, so then you can definitely come here and jump with us on next week around 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. next Thursday, where we'll be doing our rundown, and you could say, hey, your picks last week were shitty, and these are my picks, and we can debate them. So that's it. So a quick reminder here before I take us home. We have the Royal Rumble
Yeah.
watch party, which we are calling the Rumble Bash at the Portuguese Community Center in Montreal's East End on Hochelaga 9515 Hochelaga Street, which will be it's a Saturday, January 28th. So a lot of people, not to be mistaken, it's on a Saturday this year, and we will be serving drinks and food. We will be also the bash. I mean the bash. The Rumble starts at 7. if I'm not mistaken. But we will be recording our podcast,
Yeah.
a special edition episode of our podcast at the on location. So probably will be starting around 5 o'clock, maybe.
Yeah.
So just so we have enough time to get through everything. So we'll be recording. You guys are more than welcome to come for the recording also of the podcast. We'll be open. We'll be already serving the foods and drinks. Maybe you
Drinks,
guys
food,
could join
rumble.
us. You could join us on the podcast and
Uh-huh.
come and give us your opinion. You guys are more than welcome. We just like maybe give us a heads up, so maybe we could logistically maybe prepare better for what we need to prepare for. So just give us a heads up on if you're thinking of coming. It's okay if things happen last minute and you end up not being able to come. It's all good. It's not a reservation. Not asking you for any money. It's free entrance, free entry. So just maybe a heads up, hey guys. Me and my friend. We're planning on coming to watch the Rumble with you guys, just so we could basically prepare and have an idea about how many people will be with us on location. So that's the Royal Rumble Bash, the Rumble Bash at the Portuguese Community Center on Hochelaga Street on January 28th, with the Rumble starting at 7. We'll also be doing probably a pool where we'll be putting all the entries in the hat, all the number, the 1 to 30 in the hat, and then we'll be picking that, and we'll figure out all the exact rules in the upcoming weeks. So that's it. That's for the Rumble Bash, the plug for the Rumble Bash. And as for me and my co-host, Big Red, and our two other hosts that are not present with us, JLB and Big Jeff. So we say Merry Christmas to all of you that have been listening to us and supporting us from day one, which is over a year now that we've been Wrestling Talk Now podcast has been going on. I would like to thank you all for coming and supporting and commenting and interjecting with us. We really appreciate it. More than welcome. We'd like even to see more of it. So don't be shy. Interject. I wish everybody a Merry Christmas all around from me and from the boys here at Wrestling Talk Now. So if you want to follow us, yes, we have our little accounts here. Just look for WTN Wrestling at mostly all social media accounts, except on Twitch, where it will be WTN_Wrestling Talk Now. So you guys are free to follow us there and interject with us. So for now, until next week, see you next time.